So I want to do things a little bit differently this month, and I'm going to kind of vlog the process. I've never really done monthly themes in my bullet journal. I know a lot of bullet journalers do that. They pick a theme for the month. It's mushrooms or it's flowers or whatever, rainbows. And they do that theme all month long. I've never really done it, and I haven't done it for a couple of reasons. I guess the biggest reason is because when I started bullet journaling, it was 2019, and I really just followed Ryder Carroll's bullet journaling system. I didn't get really super creative with them until about 2020. So about the time that I started getting really creative with my bullet journal spreads, I was working from home, so I had all my supplies with me right there, right? And at the time, my office was right off of our bedroom. Because my spouse has chronic health issues, we kind of spend a lot of time in our bedroom. It's kind of a comfy spot for us, I guess. And so we, I had everything right there that I needed, so I just kept changing up themes by the week. Like one week I had Doctor Who theme, and one week I had Daria, and one week it would just be like a green theme or whatever. Because I didn't really have to worry about having supplies there in front of me. But now that I'm working some out of the house again, I'm finding that I often want to make a spread and I don't have what I need with me. So I thought it might be helpful for me to start thinking that way in themes, because I can put all of the stickers, washi tapes, and markers that relate to my theme into my bag at the start of each month and just carry those things with me and not be worrying about not having something that I need. So that's what I'm going to do today. And then, so then I was trying to think of what I wanted to do for a theme. And I was doing my morning yoga this morning, and I was thinking about the city of Portland, Maine. Portland, Maine. Portland, Maine is one of the prettiest cities in the world. It's just a beautiful little city. It's got cobblestone streets and all of these brownstones and brick. And I don't know. I love Portland. I was born in Portland. I have always loved Portland. And so I was thinking about kind of the shape of Portland, the way that it, like the ocean being right there, all the boats and everything. So I thought maybe I would do a Portland theme for the month. I took this photo from the second or third floor of the Portland Museum of Art, and this is kind of the heart of downtown Portland. And it was raining that day, clearly, and I really loved how the rain looked on the windows. But I wanted to use this one. The way that this person used the way that they wrote this, destroy patriarchal culture, I want to use that kind of, I guess, font is loosely the word, the way that they wrote that. I want to use that. I want to use the shape of these windows. There's a lot of buildings in downtown Portland that have that kind of shape, and the spirally thing going on in those columns. This is down on the waterfront there in the Old Port. I love all the buoys in Portland. I don't know, there's something really, maybe because I'm from Maine, but there's something very homey about buoys to me. And of course I needed one with the water for inspiration. This is a statue that stands in downtown Portland. It's up kind of hidden behind a building, and I always really liked it. It's called The Ascent by Thomas Kennedy, commissioned by Portland High School. So yeah, it's like up there by the high school, behind the library, kind of, you have to walk down a side street. I think I was going to a talk downtown, and I saw that on my way there. And then this is down in the Old Port a little more. I think yeah, Mexicali Blues right there. So that's like down in the Old Port. I really love the green of this building here. I just love that shade of green. And of course I wanted to have the cobblestone streets for inspiration for whatever I'm gonna do this month. And again, we have the windows that kind of curl up. I feel like I'm gonna use that in my weeklies a lot. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to use these 5 images. So I saved them directly to this part of my desktop so that I can access them easily all month long whenever I need inspiration for my next spread. Okay, so I think I've decided which markers I'm gonna have in my pouch for this month. I have my 3 Micron pens, 05, 03, and 01. Those are kind of always in my pouch, so those are going in. these are my general like daily journaling pens. So this one, my Pilot 0.38, that G2 0.38, that is the one that I use for almost everything I write in my bullet journal or calendars or my reading journal, my knitting journal. And then this one, the Uniball Signo, that's what I use to write in my writing journal. My 0.10 Jelly Roll, that is mostly for mistakes, but also if I want to write white letters on black, which I do kind of sometimes, I use that for that. And then that is my mechanical pencil. And then I have my highlighters that I'm going to use, my mild liners. These are the ones that I'm using for spreads right now, for yearly spreads, like my reading spread, my yoga spread, those. So I'm kind of just sticking with those colors for the year, I guess. So I'm going to use those. So I have 2 gel pens in like a bronze and a chrome, I guess. I have, 3 gel pens. Missed that one. Wait a second. Do I need 3? Survey says I do not need 3. I have 2, a chrome and a bronze. That's good enough for me. And then I have some of my Artist Loft. Oh, I have 1 Artist Loft, I guess, and the others are Tombows. So I have an Artist Loft in the dark umber. And then I have Tombows. I have the N15 992. Oh, that's an Artist Loft Terracotta. I guess I have 2 Artist Loft Terracottas. Tombow 526. Tombow N95, and Tombow 312. And those are going to be my marker colors for the month. So that is going to be my month's bullet journaling pens in my no problema pencil pouch. And of course my tiny ruler that goes everywhere with me. Okay, so we're going to switch to a voiceover so that I could speed up the image, because like you don't want to watch this in real time. But I used that inspiration from that Destroy Patriarchal Culture. I used that for the words on my calendar here. This is my whole my first calendar spread of March, or my full calendar spread of March. Wow, I can talk today. I used that Destroy Patriarchal Culture graffiti as my inspiration for that, and then those windows that I pointed out as the inspiration for the actual days of the month there. You can see the rounded top going over. So I've been thinking a lot about mindfulness practices and how to intentionally use things like my bullet journal in order to make life more meaningful, or make it, there's a quote I used on my, I'm getting this bullet journal video out a little bit late to you. I'm recording this voiceover on March 7th. So we're a week into March, and I just did my second week's spread. And I used the Stephen King quote, you better get busy living or get busy dying. I think something like that. And I've been thinking a lot about that concept of like how, when I first started bullet journaling, pre-pandemic, my approach to bullet journaling was very much, it was going to be the way that I accomplished all of my goals and dreams and things that I wanted to do, right? And now my life is very different. My mindset is very different. I'm approaching bullet journaling in a very different way. It's not just about accomplishing the things I want to accomplish. It's also about enjoying the everyday. Truly experiencing what I am living through in a more direct and tangible way, paying attention to small things that matter to me, which is part of my drive to use Portland as my inspiration this month, is because I spend a lot of time in Portland. I don't live there, but I do work in and around there and have off and on for years. I spend a lot of time there. And although I've always loved the city of Portland, I'm not sure we all truly appreciate the spaces around us and the beauty of the spaces around us. And in thinking about Portland in a different way and thinking about it through this color theme and through these shapes of the buildings and through quotes from people who are from Maine, which was another way that I'm kind of incorporating it into my weeklies, I'm really emphasizing the mindfulness of my bullet journal, that it isn't just I say this as I'm about to watch myself make a mistake on there, I think. But it isn't just about, yep, there's the mistake. It isn't just about experiencing, or it isn't just about achieving goals and trying to do these things that we want to do. It's also about making sure that we're paying attention to the everyday and paying attention to the things that we are experiencing and the life that we are living. And so as you can see there, I put little gray blocks for each day of the month, and I put 3 extras because March ends on a, what does it end on, a Thursday or something like that, so I just put Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I always do my calendars Monday to Sunday, so yeah, it must be Friday, Saturday, Sunday I did. That took me a bit to fix, and you'll kind of see the progression of that through the rest of the video, where I colored it in, I didn't like that, and then I ended up covering it with stickers eventually. But yeah, so I don't know what I was checking back for there. Checking back to make sure I had the right first day of the month, I guess. And then I used my Micron to fill in the numbers for each day. Kind of funny. Anyway, yeah, so I've been thinking a lot about that and how to use my bullet journal in that more direct way. And one of the things I did was I've been making more room in my bullet journal for the journaling aspect of bullet journaling. I think a lot of us tend to move toward, our bullet journals tend to be kind of handwritten calendars with glorified to-do lists, which isn't a bad thing at all. And my bullet journal has served me very well in that way for a really long time. But the pandemic has changed the way I approach everything. And I don't think I'm alone in that. The pandemic has changed the way that I approach mindfulness and what I need to do and what I want to do. My goals have really changed. I'm using my Tombow there to do the colors at the top. I really love my color theme for this month. My goals have changed, my ideals have changed, what I want out of life has changed. I really want to push toward, I've always worked 60 plus hours a week. I have always, pre-pandemic, I've talked about this before on my podcast and I think here on YouTube, but pre-pandemic, it was not uncommon for me to leave the house at 5 a.m. and not get back until 8 p.m. because I'd have one job right after the other with a half an hour break in between. This has just always been the way I functioned in this world. And the pandemic has changed my drive for that. The first couple of months of 2020, March 2020, April 2020, I just remember feeling like, oh my gosh, I have so much time. And I fell in love with being in my house, and I fell in love with being around my animals. Over the course of the pandemic, I've gotten 2 dachshund puppies, and having time to watch them grow from puppies into full-grown dogs. Well, one of them is full-grown. The other one still has a little ways to go, but having time to watch them grow has really changed the way that I look at what I value in this world. I didn't get that with our older dog when she was a puppy, and I don't have the same relationship with her that I do with the puppies either. Love her, but I don't have the same bond with her that I do with the puppies because I just wasn't there. I didn't have a lot of time with her. I have never had a lot of time with her until now. So getting to know them better, getting to know my house better, getting to know my cats better. I've often expressed that one of my frustrations in life was that I felt like my relationship with my cats was around feeding them and cleaning their boxes, and that was it, because that was all I had time for. And now I'm home, and I have all this time to actually enjoy their personalities and see how different they are from one another. And that has really changed the way that I see everything. So on my monthly there, you can see that I put top goals. Oh, I just flipped it too fast. But I put goals and I put task lists there in those boxes that I had messed up on the calendar. And then I went to this next page and I did a brain dump and a goals and tasks list hit here and changed my mind. So then I went back and stickered over those originals. Anyway, yeah. The bottom of this brain dump page was really inspired by the cobblestone streets of Portland. It is one of the most unique things about the city. It makes it a little bit different. The areas of Portland that have those cobblestone streets, until you've driven an old car on a cobblestone street, you don't know what bouncy is. It's quite a rough ride. I love those cobblestones. So I really wanted to bring that into this spread here. I outlined them there with my Micron, and then that other, that green block off to the side, of course, is that one building I pointed out in the photograph that I was inspired by. Doing the erasing. I made a joke on Instagram, but I really think it's true that a lot of bullet journalers, we go on Instagram and we see these really aesthetic, pretty images where we've got, you know, the bullet journal surrounded by little bits of washi tape and markers and candles and whatever, and really what it's surrounded by is eraser crumbs. Like, don't let those photos fool you. They're all surrounded by eraser crumbs. They're just hiding it well. I don't care to hide it, I guess. But again, that goes back to like that mindset that I'm living in now. I think we're a changing world, and some of it is really beautiful. And I think it's important to take into consideration how that world is changing and how we can better ourselves in that changing world. I drew a couple more buoys there. I did not want the whole spread or the whole month to be buoys, so I did that kind of in these first couple spreads, and I've avoided them in the weeklies because I do think that people associate Maine with fishing and nothing else, and I wanted to pull away from that. This is my first weekly of the month, so I did, those are like the those are inspired by those wooden posts that are up and down Commercial Street, and those little side streets going toward the water where they dock all the boats. All those little docks down there. And again, all of my fonts and writing on this page is inspired by that same graffiti artist who I don't know who they were, but I love them. I really do wish that I could draw it this fast. So anyway, yeah, as I've been doing my weeklies, I've been trying to remember to leave a little bit more blank space. I'm journaling in between my weeklies on blank pages instead of worrying about aesthetic and the pretty stuff. That's the little boat that I drew there. And trying to really focus on taking note of my day-to-day experiences. I think when we read old diaries and journals, which I don't know how many people are into that, but I really like to do that. I like to read historic diaries and journals of authors, and you know, anything by Thoreau, and there's a lot of them out there that you can find. And I think what we notice is that a lot of it is a record of the mundane. Like, we acknowledge it now as this amazing literature, but it really was a record of what they were experiencing, right? And I really want to move toward my bullet journal being that. I mean, it is how I keep track of my tasks and my to-dos and my schedule, but I need it to also be an expression of what I'm experiencing in the mundane, and an expression of how I am moving through the world, what I'm valuing, what I'm spending time on, what I'm choosing to focus on day to day. I'm really trying to pay attention to where my focus is, and I think I've said the word really like 500 times in this voiceover, but whatever. I have been thinking a lot about how my truest joys in this world come from the projects that take the most time. I like to knit big projects. I like to do recipes that take days. I like my sourdough starter. Baked beans, it takes an entire day to cook a pot of baked beans, and I love doing those kind of projects. And I think it's because it forces me to slow down and experience the world in a different way. And I think we need more of that in life. I think our instant gratification, internet culture has given us this idea that we should respond now, and we need to jump when that tone goes off on the phone, and we need to be up to date on exactly what's going on in the world. And the fact is, there's a lot going on in the world. There has always been a lot going on in the world, but historically we weren't all privy to all of it. There you can see the stickers that I put over that part of the calendar that I messed up. This is the final kind of flip through here of what I ended up doing to this calendar. So anyway, I'm sure that I have a lot more to say on this topic, and I will in future episodes and future videos. I don't know if these are episodes. Future videos of the show. I hope that you enjoyed this kind of little run through of my first themed monthly setup. If you want to see my weeklies as we go, I always post those over on my Instagram at Stitch and Witch Pod. And if I forget to post them there, I always post them on my personal Instagram at Ray-Saulis. Have a great day.